I want to play from Bill O'Reilly last night, Joe Klein from Time Magazine.
But I think that your pal Glenn Beck is peddling a lot of hateful crap. I mean, you know, this.
But he's funny. He's doing it in a funny way. What's hateful?
Oh, he's doing it in a hilarious. I thought the part where he described the president as intentionally steering the airplane of state into the ground.
Not what he said. At least, but at least he got the analogy that it wasn't an actual airplane. And he wasn't trying to actually kill people.
He didn't realize it wasn't the what was it, the
Isn't it
of state? It was about the economy.
Right. Isn't it interesting that Ariana Huffington and Joe Klein in the same weekend use the same analogy? That's been weird. Out for that piece has been out for what?
A long
months?
time.
Months.
May I also point out that's not hate.
That's opinion.
It's an opinion. There's nothing hateful.
Right.
It's a great point.
About it.
They just put hate next to anything that anyone that with on the right says. Yeah.
If you disagree with him, you hate him.
It's a hateful opinion.
I have to tell you, one of my favorite websites is becoming Mediaite, and only because there are times they take me down hard. They don't like me at all. They have taken me down hard, but there are other times that they defend. And it's not because they're fans or not fans. It's because that's the way they see it, and they're not just ideologues. Listen to this. Bill O'Reilly debates Joe Klein on the Glenn Beck phenomena. Bill O'Reilly started this week not only by taking on Republican critics of President Obama, but also factoring in some liberal guests into the fold. One of those, Joe Klein from Time Magazine, has recently had a back and forth with Glenn Beck, and O'Reilly took the chance to offer a defense of sorts to his colleague. Klein wrote a column recently criticizing Fox News and really stupid Americans. That got a 15-minute epic takedown from Beck last week. I love the article they wrote last week on the epic takedown. They said, you want to know why Beck is successful? Watch this, the best 15 minutes you've ever seen. After discussing several issues with Klein, O'Reilly brought up Klein's FNC criticism going back to last year as well. You don't like Fox News much, said O'Reilly. Klein says he likes and respects people like Carl Cameron and Major Garrett and even O'Reilly. Those are good guys. I think you're a good guy. We come from the same neck of the woods, said Klein, but surprise, surprise, your pal Glenn Beck is peddling a lot of hateful crap. Klein said sarcastically, the stuff about Obama not being an American citizen, that was hysterical. Now listen to this. Go ahead and play what else Klein said.
It's hilarious. And the stuff about Obama not being an American citizen.
He's got a blackboard out there.
Hysterical.
He's got a phone to the White House. Look, he is every man sitting on a bar stool. Why shouldn't every man have a show?
No. He is Father Coughlin.
There we go.
That's the left-wing line.
Father Coughlin.
Father Coughlin. Now,
the socialists.
Isn't it what is it, Coughlin or Conklin or something?
Coughlin.
It's not Coughlin, is it? That's how it's written, but that's not how it's pronounced.
I don't know how it's pronounced. I don't care how it's pronounced. No. The only ones that know this reference are the people at MSNBC and the Huffington Post and Media Matters. They're the only ones.
Blah, blah,
and they get it wrong every time. The guy was a socialist. The guy was, look him up on SSI.org or gov. If you look at Social Security, he's there.
He started out a huge fan of FDR.
Right.
And the reason that he turned on FDR and became so vehemently opposed to him...
Because he didn't go communist enough. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, that's a perfect comparison to you.
That's me.
Perfect.
But the reason why he says he's Father Coughlin is twofold. One, Father Coughlin was a populist. I'm not a populist.
I don't think so. People have leveled that claim against you for a long time.
Not a populist. What I happen
to
say is popular now. I happen to believe in the little man, but that's not a populist stance that I need the big government. Populist stance combines the big government with it. I don't want the big government protecting.
Right, and you've been criticized for...
Leave me alone.
Yeah, you've been criticized for being a big friend to the evil, elite, rich people forever, and then all of a sudden, now you are a populist. I don't know how that happens.
All right, so, and that's what's happening is, now the progressives are going to take this, which is what they are, really, in many ways. They are Father Coughlin. That's who they are. They're a bunch of Marxists that want redistribution of wealth. They don't think Obama has even gone far enough. And also, by the way, the reason why they compare me to Father Coughlin is because in the end, he was supporting the Germans against the Jews.
Right.
So
blah, blah, Nazi, blah, blah.
And I just want to point out I'm so much alike that Benjamin Netanyahu told me I will be remembered as a friend to humanity for what I have done and said about Israel and Iran.
Okay, the Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
Okay, Dusty Rhodes. Okay.
Right. So here's what Joe Klein. He continues on, and Bill O'Reilly. It just leaves it as the joke that it is. But let me read what Mediaite says. First of all, Beck is so far from a birther, it's absurd for Klein to even cite in his argument. It proves he doesn't even actually watch or listen to Glenn Beck.
Great.
Mm-hmm. See article, Glenn Beck thinks birthers are dumb. Glenn Beck is a lot of things. He thinks a large portion of the Obama administration are Mao-loving progressive radicals intent on forcing the socialist regime change.
Only because they said so.
Yeah, I know.
Other than that.
But he's not that. Also, on O'Reilly's defense that Beck is everyman is disingenuous as well. Glenn Beck, his appeal is that he's doing things no one else can do. Maybe the everyman can identify with what Beck is saying, but Beck is the guy leading the charge quite literally in some cases. There's a hyperlink to that. I got to see what that is. And that makes him uniquely loved and hated. Besides Klein, who led the show as guest number one, San Francisco Gavin Newsom made his Factor debut last night. Blah, 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 blah. I mean,
so Klein started out the show by accusing Fox News of lying. Then, in his dissertation on you,
comes up with two things. And he only came up with two things, one of which was a complete lie. The other one was saying an analogy that was incorrect. I mean, he didn't come up with one accurate thing.
Yeah, but he only had a week
to come up with two.
But he only had a week to respond to the epic takedown of Time Magazine. Remember when Time Magazine used to have credibility? I know.
No,
It was.
I don't.
When
was that?
It was before they put me on the cover.